I was able to survive, and there's a lot more to talk about. I remember when I was in college how they sabotaged me there too. Remember they sabotage you in every walk of your life. They this teacher, like, it was the first time in my life I had an A grade average, and I was coming to school every day, taking it seriously because it was, a trade school. It was accelerated. And I wanted to make money, you know. But they couldn't have that. So he waited after a whole month of me staying in the class longer than I was supposed to. Somebody finally told me in the class, I don't know if they were one of the perps or what, to try and upset me and stop me from taking classes and learning altogether. He told me basically, "Hey, aren't you in this one program?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, you're supposed to be in this other class. You're supposed to be there like for a while now." And I found out I was supposed to be in there a month ago. And here this teacher is, you know, just so happens to be a white person with glasses. I hate these people with glasses, man. They just always seem to be the annoying ones. He um he admitted, even though he's been taking class roll every day. Never told me I was supposed to change. Not once. Then the guy told me, and I asked him about it. He was like, "Yeah, you're supposed to be in there for a month, so it means I'm gonna flunk and I'm not gonna be able to catch up. The program, no way I'm gonna make up a whole month's work. Um, no way." So I just dropped out, and I told my dad not to pay them. My dad, being a fool, maybe even a perp himself, paid them or whatever. And I was gonna say, and yeah, so I had a jaded mentality about school after that altogether, like completely. And even when I went to another college, like I aced a few of the classes with bad attendance. At that point, I just kind of like had something. I wanted to use the college for something else while opportunity that I saw while I was there. And it ended up messing my attendance up. But I still aced certain classes that I liked and that were not co-opted. But this one class was co-opted, and they didn't tell me to take my final, so I failed. I would have passed easily, probably with a B or something. And yeah, they didn't tell me when my final was. They were trying to get back at me or whatever. They probably the enemy probably used my attendance as a way to try and galvanize them against me or whatever, because they make up these bullshit lies. But I really had health issues at that point that I had to take care of. And then even that, like, it was like, because I had deviated septum when I pulled my punch against my own brother, because he had hit my mom in front of me. So I kicked him and he made a hole in the wall. Back then I didn't want to hurt my brother like I ended up doing to him. That's why the last time we fought, I didn't stop hitting him until he was knocked out. Because this dude, he doesn't know when he's beat or when it's a warning shot. So, because the first time this happened, I kicked him into the wall, and he made a hole in the wall for hitting my mom. And I was about to hit him, but for some reason I pulled my punch. I pulled my punch. I don't know why. It was the weirdest shit I ever experienced. And he hit me across my nose because I pulled my punch. If I had just continued my punch, I would have hit him, and it would have threw off his punch. It wouldn't have had nearly the power. It wouldn't have hit me. And I would have came forward, and it wouldn't have hit me on my nose. It would have hit me on my cheek or at best. And even that's when I didn't even really know how to fight. I just had technique. Didn't really know what I was doing though. Like I said, it wasn't until I was 25 I knew what I was doing. And that's why I started kicking his ass real bad when I fought him. I mean, I already could have if I had just gone all out on him, but I didn't want to do that to my brother. And So I ended up with deviated septum. And the doctor, when I went to the doctor, that's why I used when I was in school. Because when I was in school, I was able to get these benefits with my mom at her job. And I was able to get, like, I was able to get that fixed, supposedly. But the doctor, when he saw the way I looked, that picture I have on my BitChute, how I looked when I was young, before my face got messed up, he was like, I'm not gonna give you a white woman's nose. I was like, dude, it's not a white woman's nose. It's an Ethiopian or a Latin nose, or, I'm actually part white too, you know? I'm not racist. I just don't like people making up lies. I don't like people targeting my other people, I'm loyal to all of my people, and like, I'm like, look at my mom, bro. Like, does she, like, I take after my mom. What about it? My mom was like a black Tyra Banks. He's gonna tell Tyra Banks she got a white woman's nose? No. Tyra Banks looked very Ethiopian. My mom looked very Ethiopian. She was just lighter complexion. I got skin tone like, I'm pretty melanated or whatever. So he was in on it. They probably implanted some stuff on me when I was under. Because things got really hectic after that too. And he never straightened out my nose. He just kind of like, and he unnecessarily clipped my ear to make me less attractive to women. And he probably put a chip in it, because it's very firm, like a chip's in it. And man, it's just been setting me up over and over again. But the main reason I came on here was to talk about, they just tried to kill my friend, man. They literally just tried to kill my friend. I was on the phone with him, even after I made this video, because I'm guessing you guys aren't real people, so they don't count you guys viewing this shit. They targeted my friend. I guess he's one of the few real people that actually heard this, And let me pause this. I can tell this little zombie kid's out to yell. I don't want to hear. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Yeah, that house is. You know what the house did the other day? These fools was out here burning wood, bro. I don't even think it was regular wood. It shit smelled like, I've seen people burn wood to cook food or whatever, but these fools, man, like, they had this shit right up against my damn gate. Clearly could see my tent in the backyard. They got it up against the gate. All these other gates they could put it to, but they put it up against my fucking gate, because they're perps. These niggas are the same ones that would have this, before I let the foliage grow in my backyard, they would have this stupid fucking security camera pointed dead at my fucking tent. This is a part of their weaponry. They're always surveilling me. And like I told you, a lot of the illegals and Latinos are in on it, man. A lot of people of all races are in on it, but I noticed them specifically are mostly into it, because they're obviously corrupt as all hell, and they're a lot of them are the source of all this, really. So my mom's last name was Lopez, man. I kind of feel like showing y'all some of my family pictures or whatever. Kind of let y'all know a little bit more about me, because God knows how long this is gonna go on. But like I said, and this shit, literally, the wind was taking it dead to my tent. Like, I came out of my tent, I was like, what the fuck is this smell? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, if it was charcoal, it wouldn't be that bad of a deal. I've dealt with that. It would be kind of an issue having it right up against my gate, though, and the wind pulling it to my tent. It was literally, when I came out, I saw the wind literally grabbing all this blue smoke, pulling it to my tent. And I'm like, what the fuck are you kidding me? I look over and see this woman. She doesn't speak no goddamn English, really none. Like, so I'm like, oh god, this could be an issue. And I'm like, why is this woman right next to my damn gate? Of all the gates, like the other ones, nobody's outside. The wind is gonna take it like away from them. Obviously, the wind's coming my direction, not theirs. It was a setup. She started at 10 in the morning, bro. Who the fuck does these barbecues at 10 in the morning? I'm like, dude, this is suspect as shit, man. And I had this dream that these other perps along with my brother, were against me, and law enforcement, all of it. And I was like, oh, okay, so she must be representative of one of the perps. You know, this is my psychic power. Like, God will show me stuff. They try and warn me what's going on and all this stuff. And yeah, so I asked her nicely, could she please move it to someone else's yard, like closer to another yard, like the other one where the wind's not pulling it towards them, so I can have more space. And I mean, I can still smell this shit in my tent. Like, that shit, you know what I mean? Poisonous things are in burning wood. Burning wood, poisons. It's over 100. These guys think they're slick, but yep. Cuban carbon monoxide, methane, dioxins, lead, cadmium, arsenic. All those will kill you. All those will kill you better than carbon dioxide, and that's the only thing. If somebody's burning charcoal, that's all they're going to have. Carbon dioxide, that's it. These hundreds of killer poisons that they were trying to get me. I'm like, fuck these people, man. Of course, none of these gang stalker communities even respond. See these gang stalking ones right here? They didn't respond. I posted all that stuff in there. Same thing with Fukushima. When I was trying to tell them about Fukushima, they didn't care about that either. Because people are just like, it's really controlled. All this shit is absolutely controlled. It's like living in a Truman Show. Like, you don't get to reach real people, you just get actors all day. And they push away the real people if there are real people. And so yeah, like, eventually after I trolled, I asked her like 30 times. She wouldn't listen. She'd be like, I was using body language to tell her to move it away and all that kind of stuff, and she was like, she understood me, but she was pretending like she was gonna do something, but she didn't move anything, you know. And I was just like, okay, time to have to be rude. And I started calling a bitch or whatever. Like, then she finally started responding, and I just kept staring at her, like, you really just gonna keep doing that, huh? And watch the smoke go into my tent. Trying to ventilate it is still not good enough. I went up to my other house up the street. Like, the other house. Went up the street, like 2 houses up the block. Could still smell it. It wasn't as bad, but I could still smell it up there. That's how bad it was. And then I remember she stepped away from the fire to go get the man in the house. Thought she was gonna get him to try and have him start a fight me or something. Because I don't know, I don't trust anything. I don't trust these people. After her doing all this suspicious stuff, and she could have just moved it herself. And then he comes, he actually speaks English, and he's like, you gotta be patient, man. You gotta be patient. He's trying to demonize me. I'm like, dude, I was patient. I sat here for like 10 minutes asking her patiently to move. She didn't move. Tried to let her do what she had to do. She just kept on cooking, watching the smoke go in my tent. Like, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And I talked to him respectfully because this is my first interaction with him. I always try and be respectful. But, when a person gets to a certain point, I have to show them that I'm serious about this. I was actually hoping they would call the police so the police would tell them, hey, you might want to move this away from this fence. Look at the wind, it's carrying it right to his tent, that's endangering his life. I was hoping they would call him, but they probably would have took their side knowing the system, But luckily he moved it. He moved it. I thought he was gonna take it all the way to the front yard. He took it to the driveway. It was still enough to get it from coming directly into my tent. When I got back in my tent, and it was still too much. Like, it was too strong. Like, so I just left and started airing it out. Like, had my fan going, just like I'm doing right now for the heat. This gotta be the hottest September I've ever experienced. Like, this continues next year. Like, if I'm still around, I'll have to stop it. And yeah, what happened? Oh yeah. And yeah, I went up to the other house. Of course, nobody's caring or understand the danger or whatever. Yeah, sitting up there, whatever. But anyways, that was that. They did that till like I had the most suspect neighbors, bro. Like this one neighbor, he tried to act like his church was like he tried to act like he was my dad so he could get tax exemption. This other and then he does all this perp stuff, like starting up this loud ass vehicle for no fucking reason. Like I'm telling you, a lot of these Latinos are in on these. Just another house full of Latin, people, whatever. And then my other neighbor, they have a fucking rooster. Like who the fuck has a rooster, bro? I don't know nobody else. I ain't seen a rooster in my life in somebody's yard. Like personal. Like not nobody else I knew, nobody's yard. I got this guy on my other side. Another house of illegals or whatever that do dumb shit. I remember they were building this fucking shed, they never finished it. Like they're probably leaving finishing parts so they could annoy me at a specific time. And then these other guys, they set off fireworks all the goddamn time, these cannonballs and shit, and have these loud ass parties. It's like I'm literally surrounded with all perps, man. Like all move-ins too. Like two of them were already here. One of them moved in when I came here. And I think the other one moved in too. I'm not sure. And but anyway, it's like I wanted to tell you mainly about my friend, man. Like they tried to kill him, man. Like literally how they T-boned my car. And I guess after that they put a GPS in my car. My friend, thank God. Thank fucking God, man. There was another car just in front of him. So they were tracking him by his phone. And they T-boned the car right in front of him. My friend said he was so close to the car, he could have touched it. So obviously they were trying to get him. And at first he didn't get that. I was like, dude, how close was that car? And then he told me. I was like, oh my God. As soon as I heard him saying, oh my God, I was like, dude. I was like, be careful. Because I knew he was driving when he was talking. So I was like, be careful. And then he was like, oh my God, wait. And I knew it was an accident or something. I didn't believe that it was like that bad, where it was like they were trying to get him. I thought they were trying to intimidate him by crashing some other people, like actors or whatever's car. But instead, it was the person right in front of him. They T-boned him hard as fuck. Like, and flipped their car over and knocked it over the intersection and ended up on its roof. And then my friend got out of his car because he's a hero and kind of fearless. And he ran over. You said fucking rooster? I don't make up nothing, bro. Like, who the fuck has a goddamn rooster, bro? Anyway, so I don't see no chickens there, just rooster. Like, what the fuck is the point of just a rooster? Like, laying eggs? Like, yeah, you need more than a rooster to do that. But anyway, so it's just trolling, you see? That's how controlled this shit is. The animals, all of it's controlled. Man. You wouldn't even believe me. It's real though. It's all in this fucking. You need to read through this shit. Like, the link is right here. That's the name of it. You won't find this if you go to Google. I found it through DuckDuckGo. I'll show you. See, it doesn't work through Google. Hopefully it'll show Google in here. Nah, it's on a different tab. I tried. Doesn't work with Google. I'll show you. Because obviously Google's a part of it. I remember before this started with me, there was a guy in China going through it, and he tried to message me on Facebook. You see? You see, this is real government stuff. You see this? There shall be standardized trainings for non-law enforcement community representatives, including training requirements. You see? But you can't find that joint. Aided dispatch. That's, you see? Recommended by rotation or selected. This is all real shit, bro. You just gotta know where to look. That's why I love Alex Jones, my little doppelganger. You know, it's not gonna show up, but it showed up in DuckDuckGo. They didn't want you to find this. So it's all real. I've already asked the AI about all this shit. Like, look, it's from a study. That's how it knows. ACLU study, but this is real. Like, they have these fusion centers and stuff. What's that one there for? That's weird. Yeah, this is asking about the ones that's spreading rumors and all that. Civil Liberties Union published a report on the fusion centers and involved in all this stuff. See, they're getting pretty much most of this information from the ACLU. It's just all these things I just kept looking up, and I was like, oh, okay. It's just bringing up ACLU stuff. And yeah, about that. They even tried to get in my friend's place the other day, and he was like, "That's not what's." They tried to act like when his friend was there, and they didn't know he was there. He basically they try to act like they were coming to inspect, which is a cover story, because they know. Like, for example, he was supposed to have them come and inspect. He took a day off from work because they're trying to sabotage him. Like, his medical person, when they ended up giving him a stroke, and he took off from work because of that, trying to recover and get his sick leave. His doctor was in on it. At first she was helping him, and then she turned on him because obviously they paid her enough money, and she just started like throwing him under the bus. Obviously, why would she want to do that? She would want him to get his payout so he can pay her, you see. But now she hasn't got her full pay because of that, and she obviously got paid more by the government to throw him under the bus. I need to talk to him about this, and it's just ridiculous. Like, I can see how they've been trying to set him up too. But anyways, my friend, like, they rammed the side of that woman's car. She was so close, they couldn't tell the difference between the two. And he went to go get her out of the car. And when he came back to the car, I found out that's what he did, and I was like, oh my God, John, it could have been a setup. They could have been trying to set you up to act like you did something. Because they tried to have my uncle before. Like, this woman passed out right in a big group of people. And my uncle he was the only one who goes across the street, runs across the street to get them to call 911, because back then there was no cell phones. My uncle's, he's a relatively older guy. And then he came back, and when he was coming back, the police were arriving, and he saw this white guy pointing at him and saying, "It was him. He ran over there." Now, I was like, oh my gosh, let me guess the dude's race. And I was like, this white guy, and he was like, yeah, it was a white person. I'm like, Keith, come on, see? And my uncle Keith's like me, I had white friends before. I've told you how they changed on me. And, so I didn't want to believe that there was real racism, with a lot of them. I thought it was just like the redneck ones when I was younger. But after dealing with BitChute, obviously, I know different now. Thank you guys. I appreciate you being very straightforward with your racism. here so I can see your true colors. I know that you don't represent all white people. I know you represent a good population. I mean, how else could you guys collectively decide to do the horrible things to black people you did? You know, like, do I have to name them? You know, but my uncle, he's still in that phase of not understanding these people are out to get him because a lot of his good friends are white. You know, and you know, so I told you that's why they accept him. You know, because he still doesn't get this stuff. You know. I tried to tell him about it last night. I'm like, dude, this is a real thing. It's really documented, and this and that. This is literally what happened with me, A to B. Like every single thing in it, like from the beginning of it to the end of it. And you know what? I'm not even looking at this anymore. I'm closing that. I don't want to give that negative stuff power. I just sit. Future mercenaries. I wonder what happened. Intelligent future under scrutiny. You see? Undermine. This is real. Not making of nothing. And they don't never really find any terrorists. They just fuck people up, man. Like, these are some of the biggest groups on Facebook. I'll show you. That's how many people are getting hit with it. Like, I couldn't believe how big these groups were. I was thinking we were going to be small groups. They were huge, man. Gang stalking. I wish I could leave them so you can see what I'm talking about. They're all like 1K, 2.1K, 4.1K. There's a lot of people being targeted, man. Look at that, 19,000. That's a big fucking group. Look at that compared to, I joined these radiation ones. They never responded to anything because they don't really want answers. Yeah, I made a group named the White Man though. Yeah, I'll admit it. I don't care. You guys already know how I feel about most of y'all. I don't specifically think every single one of you are. Even though y'all make me think it sometimes. I don't want to believe it about you though. Like, how big is the Tartars? It's smaller, you see? And this is the biggest Tartarian group I could get into. It's bigger than Tartars, you see? What about this one? Oh, this is a huge group. This one's even bigger. It's a nice one. You should probably join. I'm sure all of these are going to get infiltrated. I'm pretty sure they already were. Let's just look at my page. Just so I can stop looking at that negative stuff. But anyway, so they did that, and I was like, man, that could have been a setup, man. And then they tried to fuck my uncle. Remember when he came back and they tried to make up that shit about him, and the cops were actually buying it at first? Until my uncle showed him his secret clearances and stuff. Because he's really deep into this shit, and that's why, you know, he gives me trouble, whatever, a lot of this stuff. And why they, you know, because he's a loyal kind of puppet or whatever to this shit. Like White House clearance, all that shit. My grandma was CA, my aunt was CA. I'm sure they already know all this shit, so. And my uncle, he had all these clearances and stuff with them. They used to hang out with all kinds of presidents and stuff like that. And so he showed them all that. He's the police, technically higher ranking than the police that he was in front of. So they backed off on him. And they left him alone. And, but yeah, if he didn't, like, you know how few people have that kind of stuff he had? I wonder what would happen then. He just lasted off because he had that ability to get by, and most people don't. He doesn't put that through his head. You know, he's not the smartest guy. He's smarter than most people, but he's not the smartest. He's not as smart as me. That's for damn sure. What happened? So like I said, they ran my friend, that woman off the road. They were trying to get my friend up. She was literally right in front of them. And then they rammed her with full force, so hard to flip her car over the embankment. Imagine if they had actually hit my friend's car. How I would have fucking felt, man. Imagine how I'm feeling already. I'm like, that's them trying to silence me about it, so I don't tell nobody about it out of fear for their lives. So you know, I don't give a fuck about my life too much. You know, I'm not gonna let them get me. You know, not willingly. You know, God brought me back 3 times last night, bro. They tried to get me 3 times. I basically died 3 times last night. That's gotta be a record or something. That'll bring me right back though. And I'll see the rapture, like it's like Blue Phoenix and all this stuff. And all this stuff materializing. I thought I was actually in the rapture, and then I'd come back to life and I'd be right back here again. And I was just like, yeah, I gotta make this video. If I stay silent, this is probably just gonna keep happening. And yeah, I just tried to get my friend. That was the point of the video. And what else can I say? Yep. Just a little update on the bombardment I've been going through. And obviously I didn't get 1 thumb up. Not 1. Doesn't really matter to me. It's all controlled at this point. It's amazing how many people are involved. All 4 of these thumbs ups are from me. I put them on because I was figuring I'd get a whole bunch of thumbs down. That's the way this world works usually. See, it's just me. I had to make 4 accounts because of how much they would troll my page. But you see, this is all literally like, already happening when I was that little kid, man. I remember they tried to put me in this bad foster home. This bitch called Miss Eaton. She's the ugliest woman I ever seen. One of the most ugly women. She had a mustache and everything. And I was like, when we first got there, I started calling like when I would talk to my protective officer or whatever, agent, I would tell them, man, this woman act different when you're not around, man. She's really suspicious. I want to change places. You know, I was the same one who spoke up when my dad was beating our ass as little kids. Showed him the marks, got us out of there, testified against him in court. I didn't know how evil the child, the step parents and all. I mean, you know that system or whatever. I forget the word for some reason right now. Could have lost my brother in there. Could have lost myself. And then eventually, after we went in a couple of those, we ended up with my uncle. And that's when he did that bull. His wife made up that lie against me because they've been against me since I was young. It's crazy, man. Like, made up those lies about me, and he was gonna wake me up at 3 in the morning every night. And he comes home from ABC and NBC because he's like their lead tech, carrying them because all their techs are retards. And he was always cleaning up behind them. He could do any job in there he wanted, but he liked being the tech to fix everything. That's just what he liked doing. He always told me he never worked a day in his life. He always enjoyed doing that stuff. And he never let them know as much as he really knew and all this stuff. And like I say, he's a little minor celebrity or whatever. And like his friend, man, apparently they've been lying to him, man. Like the medical part where they try and tell him he's got kidney problems, but he's pissing clear pee. So they're just trying to kill him through the dialysis. I know that because yesterday they made him faint a whole bunch of times. And then before fixing him, they kicked him out. They kicked him out. They don't care that he's been on National Geographic and, he should be a celebrity, but I guess because he's a man of color, that's what we get. He doesn't have robot subscribers. He had less subscribers than me. And this nigga was on National Geographic. He had less than me. And I didn't have no robot subscribers. I just was that, my testimony was that strong. And what I had been doing, people saw the evidence of it, and it was real. And it's just a shame. This guy's should have a whole bunch of followers. He's been on TV and stuff, been on expeditions and shit, with teams and stuff, been on teams with Graham Hancock and shit, world renowned people. You only get to hear from the white ones, though. They don't never tell you about the black guys. And he was literally carrying them when they went to the Arctic to do this research. And then one of them, of course, a white man, was like, "What use is he gonna be?" Not knowing this guy's pedigree. And then he changed his mind when he saw how he could actually catch the UFOs almost every day on camera, using the special cameras and stuff he made back then. And then the guy changed his tune real quick, started being nice to him or whatever. And I'm like, you don't accept people that do that to you, man. What if you had just slipped up one time? He would have been all over you, you know what I mean? Yeah. The man's brother, basically kicked him out after basically cheating to steal their inheritance and all this. And then kicked him out of the house. Well, actually sold it, kept the other one that was a mansion, let him live for a little while, then kicked him out. The man went from the top of the world to living in a shelter. Man. This man's going through dialysis and stuff, living in a shelter. You know how fucked up that is? Bro. The only people I've seen that are master's degrees on the street, homeless. The only time I saw it was a black guy, man. I remember seeing that. First, I didn't put 1 and 2 together. I was just like, wow, even master's degrees end up homeless? I'm like, later on, I realized how bad things were with this racism shit. I realized he was being targeted. It's real, guys. They're really coming to get us. That's all I'm going to say about it. There's a lot of white people being targeted by these things. Clearly, a lot of black people in on it, actually doing it. Crackhead motherfuckers. I remember I was riding with my aunt. She's a horrible driver. And so I get real paranoid with her driving. And these people literally ran right in front of her car to get hit with it. They did it twice. One, and then when she thought it was clear, she started driving, and another one came out. He was watching for her to start moving again. He was watching the front of her car so she couldn't see. He was around the edge. And they had timed it so that she wouldn't see him. It made the first guy block her so she wouldn't be able to see the second guy coming. He was just sitting there watching around the corner. It's the perfect angle. They had planned it out. And then he came out as a little fucking crackhead. Same thing. I remember at first they tried to hire me. There was one guy, he had these abilities to move and stuff. He was like, well, if the government tries to hire you, if they call you or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That was my friend the Hulk. And everybody hated him because he wasn't with them, but he knew how it worked. And that's why a lot of people hated him. Some people loved him. I mean, really strong. It was night and day, and I thought I was the only one getting hated on back then. He was the only person I've ever met that got hated as much as I did, maybe more. He used to not give a damn about them, so much that he would just go in front of traffic and shit. This dude was fearless, man. And I'll tell you, random people were just staring at him hatefully, I've never seen him do this to a person before. no matter their skin tone. Like, he's the most hated person I've ever seen. And then he was like, we got in the middle of the night and all this. He was like, yeah, watch this government agent. He's gonna come. He follows me around. He gives me cigarettes. Then that's what he did. We were out there in the middle of the night. I stayed with this guy because I felt a connection with him or whatever. And I was gonna give him some money the next day or whatever. And I remember we started hanging out that day. And then we were hanging out with these other guys at his shelter. And one of them was a perp and got up to try and like come against me. And my friend, he instantly, he's like a mind reader. Yeah, he got up and he was like opposing the guy. And they started fighting. My friend punished him, bro. Hit him a few times, like a nice little 2-piece or 3-piece. Dude fell back stunned. And I was like, what y'all doing, bro? He was like, we're talking. And after that, he could tell I was like getting a little fearful. And I was like, in my head, I was like, you better not talk to me like that. And but I could tell he was like, you know, had my back. That's why he did that. The other guy was against me. I could just pick up on it. And I'm getting a little fearful because we're back in this alley and shit, with these strangers and shit. And I'm like, not knowing what's gonna come next. And he's like, he reads my mind, feels my fear. And he's like, fear ain't nothing but the devil. And I'm like, damn, it just made me more afraid, you know? So like, now I know he's on to me. And yeah, while we were waiting for these guys to come back, he was shaking the water in this pond. I mean, not pond, this pothole, deep pothole full of water. And it's crazy, bro. Like, this shit is so fucking real. And I remember I brought him over to give him some shelter for a while. And he was just doing some weird shit, so I was like not trusting him. And I knew how powerful he was. He could move things. I remember the first time he moved something in front of me, we were out in this spot to be away from people. And of course, the government agent followed us. And there was this Asian guy, started smoking a cigarette right next to us, and then didn't bat an eye when my friend moved something with his mind. Like, I tried to do it first because I had been working on that. And then when I did it, it moved, but I think it was him. I really do. But if I did move it, I guess he was like, oh, okay, I guess I could show him I can do it too. And he flipped my thing on my shoulder off. Either it was the first time I ever actually moved something, or he did, and I'm pretty sure it was him. And after that, he the Asian guy didn't even bat an eye, just kept smoking a cigarette. I'm sure he's used to this guy doing that. And yeah, getting stalked is very real. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Very, very real. Realer than you'll ever imagine. Hope to run into the Hawk again one day, so we can unify, be allies. With me and him together, I know we could really do some damage. Anyway, so yeah, they tried to run my friend off the road. Like, they ran the hell out of that woman's car. And I ain't gonna bother bringing them on here to tell you, because not like y'all gonna believe me anyway. I'll see if I can look it up on the news real quick. It pauses. If not, that's the end of the video. I see a whole bunch of videos, news about cars getting Tboned. Not gonna give away this location. I don't have to, but it's somewhere near DC. I'm pretty sure you can add that much information. But yeah, that's pretty much the video.